how are
Hey,
you?
Paulo.
Little question. Is this my publisher sitting at the last row?
It is. Yes.
Oh, Irving, hello.
Hey. That's really good that you saw him, yeah?
Yeah.
So how are you?
Fine.
Ah.
Happy to talk to you. I was in Göteborg in the book fair, I guess a few years ago. It was a wonderful experience. It was the very beginning of my career. Probably 10 years ago, and it was a great experience. So I'm glad that I'm back. I'm black. And you know why did I discover Irving sitting in the last row?
Yeah?
Because he always wears the same clothes.
He always wears the same coat. Is that so? That's beautiful. You know, I have to tell you also that I had such a wonderful time at your place. And I was so well, I felt almost I knew you since a long time ago. And you know something? When I'm looking at your blogs, it is the same feeling. Because Mr. Paulo Coelho is blogging a lot with video blogs. And you do have the same familiar tone. So I feel I get really close to you in your blogs.
Thank you very much. This is the idea, because today we have this possibility of connecting directly to you or to my readers using the blogs and social communities, which is very important, and I don't understand why not many writers are being here. At the very beginning of my career, let's put it this way, I did not have a chance to meet people, to talk to them, to interact with them. I don't see my readers as let's say, someone who is passive. They are much more active. You know, they have things to share with me. I have things to share with them. Sharing is basically what we need to do as human beings. And then now with social communities, I have this opportunity to interact with them, which is wonderful. Not that they are going to influence the way that I write, but at least I have a chance to hear and sometimes get very good ideas from them.
Yeah, and how often, I mean, when you do these blogs, you do them quite often, yeah? And how much answers do you get? And what do they say?
It depends. Yesterday I posted something about politics in Brazil. I got over 3,000 answers.
Hey! Wow!
But then if we are discussing an issue that it is relevant to all of us, in the sense, questions about life, that it is basically the core of any artistic work, then I have an average of 1,000, 1,500.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Can I ask you, because we have lots of questions from that has been coming in through internet, but first I want to ask you a question. I want to know, are you now in the office in Geneva, or where are you?
I am at my home. This is the beauty of internet.
Oh yeah, that's your living room, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it your wife's paintings? Because you had paintings in the background, yeah? Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Isn't that marvelous that we can sit here and we can be in your house at the same time? You know, I think that's brilliant.
Like in the Göteborg Book Fair.
Yeah, you're in the Göteborg Book Fair. But also after being, because I first I said hello to you in this room, and then we went over to the office, and there you told me when going in there, you said this is a very special and not very common author's office.
It is true. Back in 1992, I had my office full of books, and I have, of course, shelves. And one day when I returned home, these shelves had collapsed, and I have 3,000 books at the floor. And I looked at these books and I asked to myself, how many of them am I going to read again? Why am I keeping these books here I asked probably 400, no more than 400. This is number one. Number two, who should know what am I reading? Am I reading and putting these books on the shelves to impress my friends? And I said no. So what I did was I kept 400 books, and from this moment on, well, every time that I buy a new book, I share with someone after I finish reading. And this is very important because a book has to travel.
That's a really good idea. Really good idea. And you also told me this beautiful sentence. The only thing I have here is my spaceship. That's a computer. Wasn't that beautiful? I think that's so nice. Could you tell me a bit more about this view you have on internet?
The spaceship is that you just saw my spaceship landing at the Göteborg Book Fair, and I see you here. So this possibility, as I say again, to interact is much more important than anything else. Today, internet broke a lot of barriers, and here we are talking. I'm talking to you today. I may be talking to someone else in 2 days from now, and I have this mobility. It's not that I don't like to travel. I love traveling. I love traveling. But I love traveling, and I also, this year, I decided that I needed to know 144 new cities or villages.
144 new
cities,
oh.
villages.
Wow. Why 144?
Well, I started with 3 per week, and then I started, visiting new villages, that I never been before, right? So I said, in 1 week I made 5 or 6. I said, this is not going to work. So instead of 3 per week, let's put 12 per month. That it is 4 times 3. And then I start realizing that I was going to different villages more often. So I said 144. That means 12 times 12. But up now I have 172. I don't think
Woo! That's beautiful. Yeah.
You go out, you meet people. People is the core of anything you write. More than anything else. Books help a lot, but at the end of the day, if you don't interact with people, you do nothing. It is kind of selfish writing. I remember, like every writer, I have this idea of one day I'm going to have a house in the mountains with a lake, and nobody's going to disturb me, and then I'm going to sit and write a fantastic book. Every writer has this picture in his or her mind.
Yeah.
So one day I had my house in the Pyrenees with this beautiful lake, and nobody was disturbing me. And then I wrote a lousy book, horrible book.
Yeah, which one?
Because, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't. You never published it. Yeah.
I did not have the opportunity to talk to people, to interact with people. So today when I write in the middle of people. I can write everywhere, and every book must be touched by this energy of friends, of strangers, of different places, but not this idea of being totally detached from real life, because a book is a mirror of life.
But so you mean you sit everywhere? I mean, you don't you sit in your bureau, you sit in a cafe, or...
Yeah, you have this old machine to write books that...
Yeah.
Oh,
sure. Oh, yeah. that's the one, yeah. Oh, you can move it even. That's great. Is there no cord connected to it?
No, yes, there's a cord.
Ah, that's pity. You could have walked us into the bureau.
I got some plug here.
Because I really like your bureau. I have something to tell because you have something in your bureau that I consider so very interesting. That's your show, your showing pieces. Yeah, I hope you still have them, the show pieces. Because, when you get so many gifts, so many things, you have too many things at home. So you told me you just have them on a shelf, only 1 month, and then you change everything.
Yeah.
I think that was so brilliant. Do you still have that?
Yeah, but now I have a door here. This is totally empty thing. Can you see me or not?
Yeah, we can.
You see me?
At the moment, yeah, we see you. Yeah. Yeah.
So it is closed here.
Ah, yeah, it's closed. That's the bureau.
Tour, my house tour.
Now we're going on a house tour with Paulo Coelho in Geneva. Isn't that just wonderful? And these are the paintings.
Yeah.
Are that your wife's paintings?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's nice.
Back to work.
Back to work. I really like this. This is so wonderful. This is the internet for you, yeah?
And one day,
yeah?
you and I were going to sit again. This is a new house, by the way, a new apartment.
It is, because I didn't really, it's a new apartment.
And then I'm going to tell you the reason why did I buy this apartment. It was thanks to you, but...
It was thanks to me. You bought an apartment. Come on, now you have to tell us.
One day I tell you this.
Oh, gee, this was a cliffhanger. How can I... oh, that's interesting. But this doesn't have anything to do with internet, your showpieces. But I have told so many people about this, and everyone remembers these things, and they say, oh, that's such a good idea. Because we do have so much things everywhere, and we don't see the things, because we're so used to them. And you just change them, right?
Yeah. It can be also a flower, right?
Yeah.
It can be something very simple, something that I found on the street, and that I think, oh, it's a beauty to put it here, beautiful to put it here. So basically, this is the Japanese art of architecture. They call it shibumi.
Yeah.
Shibumi are just totally empty spaces where we have one thing that singles out, and then you can look to this thing and see the beauty of it.
I have so many questions about other things than the internet, but maybe we should talk a bit about the internet now. How do you react when you find your books in pirate versions on the internet?
I have my books in pirate versions, and I have them uploaded by myself.
Yeah.
It is horrible to read in a screen of a computer. So I think that piracy, in this sense, of course, I'm not defending piracy. I'm defending content that you can give to the reader the possibility of browse and then buy.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, it was difficult, for example, for a reader that lives in Macau, that speaks Portuguese, to find a book of mine. They have a book of mine in Macau, in China, but very expensive. So they could download, and for free, of course. This, in many peer-to-peer sites. But at the end of the day, we are talking either about people who cannot afford to have your book, or who does not have the possibility of distribution. But people are much more honest than we normally think they are. If they see that you're not greedy, they support you. So since I start uploading my books in so-called pirate sites, the books start to sell much better, because they understand that I'm not being greedy, and at the same time they want to support a person who is not greedy.
I think that's really interesting. But tell me, the first time you found a pirate book, then you didn't have... how did you get to this decision to really put everyone on the internet?
The first time it was when my agent went to Russia, and the book was being published in Russia. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, super.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my agent went to Russia, and I was a newcomer in Russia, and I saw, and she told me that they did not have paper to print books. There was a crisis of paper. They ran out of paper. So I found an internet version of The Alchemist. And I saw, why don't I put it here? Well, I thought also, if they don't have paper, let alone internet. But anyway, I decided to give a chance and to put this book, The Alchemist in Russian, for people to download. And I went from 3,000 books to 10,000 next year when they start having paper, to 100,000 in 2 years from that moment, to 1 million books. And in 2006, I made a trip that it is also in one of my books, Alan.
Yeah.
I think that it was because of this book that you came here, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and it was my journey, my Trans-Siberian journey. And then I met people there, and they said, oh, the first edition that I read of any of your books was The Alchemist, that was printed in my school, in my university, and it was this pirate edition. So it opened not only many doors in Russia, but also it allowed me to be where I am right now.
You know, this is so interesting because many authors and many publishers, of course, find these things a threat, but you don't at all.
No, I don't. And I think that the book business is going through a major change. I'm really, what a pity that I cannot be with you in Gothenburg, because I'm sure that the book fair is expressing this change. I'm not also only talking about new platforms like e-books, e-readers, sorry. I'm talking about major changes, but now you have a better distribution thanks to internet, and you have much more readers, contrary to what people say, because internet is mostly a written media. Of course, you go to YouTube, you see something, and at the end, you have authors, writers, and artists who only go in life is to share something. Let me just add something. People say, oh, you can do that now because you're very rich, because you are very famous, and you sold, how many books did I sell? I think that over 180 million.
Oh, wow. That's so wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is not the point. My goal, it was always to be read. And I think this is the goal of any writer, regardless what he or she says. But the goal is not to get rich, because if you want to get rich, go to work on the stock market or something more effective. You know, the goal is to really to share your soul.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But how do you see the future then? How will books? Will there be books? Because here in Sweden we see that young people don't read so much books anymore. We feel at the moment we are really in the crossroads. What's happening with the books and literature?
I think that young people read a lot. You see this huge phenomenon, like from Harry Potter to Twilight to even to 50 Shades of Grey. I think these are people that these are not 50 Shades of Grey, but are read mostly by young people. If I go to my Facebook or my Twitter, you see mostly young people there, and they are commenting my books. They are not saying, "Oh, put a new sentence or a new e-card." They are discussing my books. So I think they do read much more. It's not visible, and I'm very optimistic in this sense. I mean, the system is going to change. The system that of distribution of printing on demand or e-readers, but they do read. And even, let me add something, if they read a blog post, for example, they are reading. They are reading something that you want to share. I had now in Korea the publication of my first book on my tweets. So my Korean publisher said, let's publish Paulo Coelho's tweets. And they did publish this book, and it was really, really a book that made number 3, if I'm not wrong, on speaking in Korea. So people read. Probably the system of distribution is changing, but people continue to read, and will continue to read for the time to come.
So how about the paper books? By the way, I have your last one here. Hang on. This one, yay!
Yeah.
This one is your last one in Sweden, yeah?
Yeah. Let me tell you about this book.
Accra, yeah. The manuscript from Accra.
Yeah.
Yeah?
By the way, something that I should encourage you to do is to put this conversation online.
Hmm? Yeah.
You are planning to put this conversation online?
You know something? Can I be a bit critical?
Yeah.
Because I really said when we started to talking about that, I said, well, we have to send it, of course, online, Bambuser, of course. Well, we don't have the technical possibilities at the moment, but I am, of course, recording with my 2 cameras. Remember? I have 2 cameras. They're standing there and they're... Yeah?
I remember the camera that you had that I'm organizing my...
Yeah. Yeah. They were here both of them, yeah?
You're naughty girl.
Yeah.
So, what was the question?
So, yeah, where were we? Anyway, yeah, the Accra, the manuscript of Accra.
This
Yeah.
is a book I wrote. Think about the possibility of if a big if this book survives a few 10, 20 years, you can cut this book in several parts and post it in the internet. So it was also a book that is easy to read, that takes place in the I think in the 13th century, but also the way that I wrote it was to allow people to interact. Well, in a few years from now, to put parts of this book in internet. You can cut and paste it without any problem.
Oh, that's interesting. So you really wrote this book with internet in mind, yeah?
Yeah.
Ah. I must say, you are really a person that adapts to new things so easily. I think I never met anyone that adapts.
But
So-
you know why?
No.
Because I had a lot of fun. It's not because I'm thinking what's going to happen in the future with books, but I have a lot of fun. I really have a lot of fun in interacting with them.
You can tell when you see your blogs that you are having a good time.
Yeah.
That's really so. But you know something? Also, this doesn't have either anything to do with the internet. But when I spoke to you, you said something about that also stuck in my mind. That every day you want to do something new. Every
Oh,
day,
yeah.
no matter what happens. And then you said, well, today I'm doing the interview with you, and I don't like that. You said.
Yeah.
Because you don't like interviews. So this must be terrible also, yeah?
No. This is not terrible.
This is okay.
It is a pleasure talking to you. But as I told you, it is 144 cities in 2013. Every day we need to discover something new. Interviews, I explained, we are now in a book fair that it is a sacred place for me. I met you before. And then you have really also to be part of this world. It is a world that I love, the book business, the book industry. Irving, who is sitting here, he's a hero. He's a hero because I know how many difficulties he has. He's an independent publisher. And still he's there, full of enthusiasm, enjoying of what he does. He does not do this for money. I don't do this for money, as I said before. But it is the joy that we have in doing something that we love. So I love to talk to you. I love to be in Gothenburg right now. But as soon as I finish this interview, I'm going to the woods because this is my, well, for me, this is the most magic moment of my life is when I go to the woods, to the forest every day and walking with my wife and having a good time with nature.
That's beautiful. Do you still do?
Yes!
Yes, of course.
Every day. Yesterday someone broke an arrow, a friend of mine.
Bow and arrow, yeah. Maybe, and everyone maybe didn't see the film, but you taught me. And it was the first time ever I did this, remember?
It was
Remember that? You showed me how to do this, and it was the first time ever I did it. And then I, almost in the middle. And both you and me were so surprised. So we just stared at each other. Oh, remember?
Yeah, we call it beginner's luck.
Yeah. I call it skill. Yeah, that's wonderful to talk to you, you know. But I really think that next year in Gothenburg, can't you be here in person? Because I think the internet is a good thing, but you know, it is special to the meetings, real meetings. That's also an interesting thing. If you have some time left, can we speak just a bit more? Because I think that's an interesting thing. I think that you and me can now connect so good because we have met. We have felt that special, you know, spark when you meet face to face. And I have an 18-year-old son who is always connecting to his friends by internet. He never meets anyone. Yeah, in school maybe, but I mean, always on the internet.
But you're right when you tell about this virtual contact. It does not substitute the physical contact. As I said, yes, I do have time. I still have 10 minutes, and we can hear from the audience. But at the end of the day, you need this human contact. Not only with people, but with nature. I have a great pleasure in doing this. Well, you know that when I first went to Sweden, the first place that I put my feet on, it was Göteborg. Back in, oh my God, 82. 82.
Wow.
So I was, it was not that I was a hippie, but it was far after the hippie movement. But I remember visiting this place, it was winter time. And these lakes totally frozen. And I did not speak Swedish, and they did not speak Portuguese, but we could understand each other. There is a language that goes beyond the language. So you have the possibility of understanding a country, a people, a city, a countryside, looking into the people's eyes. They were very helpful, and I had a fantastic time. So nothing can substitute the human contact. That's why we still have book fairs, because people go there and people have a chance to interact with publishers and writers.
That's beautiful. You know, maybe we could let the audience come with some questions. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do we let them in? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Okay, we do. Do you have the microphone there? Okay. Someone dares to pose the first question? No. Come on. Yeah, you.
I have a question. I'm not quite the audience because I work on the stage here, but it's we have had a few days of discussions on digital books. And my question to you is, some pirates claim that your success as a self-published writer on the internet is a case against copyright. What do you say to that?
Copyright is an invention of the 16th century, because when people started writing books, this idea of copyright did not exist. But then there was an industry based on printing and distributing books. And then copyright was invented. I have nothing against of copyrights. I live on copyrights. All the things that I bought from this glass to this apartment are money from copyright. Having said that, copyright was not my first intention when I started writing books, because you don't see yourself earning any money. You do that because you are enthusiastic. So we need copyrights, we need publishers, we need bookstores, and I don't think this is going to disappear just because you're not greedy and you are hiding all your work from people. Next question.
Next question. Come on. Yeah.
Hi. Maybe this isn't a question per se, but I want to thank you mostly because I first read your book, The Alchemist, in 2008. And ever since that, I borrowed it from a friend. And then I gave it back. And then the book has magically appeared in different places. Like, I've been in the university and I can see the book lying on a ledge of some sort. And a few months later, I was studying Nordic languages. And then I found the book in the tram, on a seat, in Danish. At the same time I was studying this language. So, and ever since that, I buy the book in every second-hand store I find and give it out to people. I never have the book at home, but I buy it every time I see it, and I still hand it out. And why do you think the book keeps appearing? Maybe that would be my question.
This is a very good question. As for the previous question of the gentleman, I only get copyright from the first book, right? Because when you lend your book, or when you go to a bookstore or to a library, the author in general is not having copyright, or she's not having copyright. But there is nothing that can substitute the joy of an author when he hears a story just told. That my books are all around. And I would like to thank Irving for this in the Scandinavian countries. My books are around, and people are reading my books, and people are lending my books, and a book's traveling. The same thing that I do with books that I buy. So every time that I buy a book, I finish a book. I go to a library, or there is a thing in internet called book crossing. I don't know how many of you are familiar with book crossing, but there is book crossing. And then they'll say, I'm going to leave this book in the bakery X. And someone goes to the bakery X, gets the book that I just finished to read, and leaves another book. So there is this silent, invisible chain of people sharing books with each other, and this is fantastic. So back to the question on copyright, we don't receive copyright from these books, but this is our mission. And we do this because we love what we are doing. And we're sorry that you just told, thank you very much. It is great. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, we have maybe one more question, yeah? We take one more, yeah. When was the other thing to you?
Oh, finally, because only two men asked questions.
I don't want to ask a question. I'm from Brazil. I just want to say how proud I am to see how loved you are here in Sweden, and also very proud to be able to be speaking to you. I'm very proud of you.
What's your name?
Caroline.
Carolina.
Caroline. Do Rio. Com muito orgulho. Just a big fan.
Carolina, thank you very
Oh,
much.
that's beautiful. Do we have just time for one more question, maybe?
Yeah. Could you ask?
Last one.
Yeah.
And to stand here, you have to, because, yeah, so we can see you.
Yeah.
That's the camera.
Hello.
Hello.
The first time I read one of your books was in 1998 when I was an exchange student in Argentina. And then I've been reading The Alchemist in different languages, and I try to read your books in different languages. So, Alchemist I've read in Swedish and in Spanish, Portuguese, and I was thinking about, first of all, I mean, it depends really on at what time in life you read a book, you interpret it differently, but also who you are, you interpret it from your own experiences. But I was also thinking about the language, because I kind of noticed that when I read your books in different languages, it's different. And are your thoughts about that? What do you think about that?
Well, sorry, your name is?
Joanna.
Joanna. Joanna, first of all, you have to trust publisher. Because there are some countries that I know that it is my book, because I see my photo, like Japanese or Chinese or Korean or Indonesian. I know that it is my book because at the cover I see, I cannot even read my name. But I see my photo, I say, oh yes, this is my book. This is my book. But I have no idea how the book is translated in many, many languages. For example, 11 Minutes, my second most popular book, the first one being The Alchemist, is translated in 56 languages. It is a book that The Alchemist is translated in 71. And let's talk about 11 Minutes, that it is a book that deals with sex, prostitution, very complicated issues. So imagine if the translations were not good. They are. You have to give credit to the publishers. They are not there to destroy your work. They are there to support you. And from the moment that you understand that this book led to the next book, let's say you read, I don't know, The Pilgrimage, and then a few months later, the same person buys The Alchemist. You understand that the translations. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all my publishers, including, let me praise Irving. I don't know how many think Irving. I have a very complicated relationship with Irving because Irving is married with my agent. And friend, Monica. But I was totally unknown in Norway by then, and Sweden, let alone Sweden. But then Irving was this type of creative publisher who said, well, Paulo is totally unknown, why don't you do a show like a musical? So we invite Paulo, we invite a flamenco dancer, and there was a third person that I don't remember. So we made a spectacle. This was very creative to introduce a new writer to a public where he is totally unknown. And then Sweden, I really don't remember how did it happen. But when I visited Sweden a few years ago, I even don't remember what for, 3 or 4 years ago, it was fantastic because I had this, my soul, my heart was already known. So it was fantastic.
You know something? They're telling us we have to stop. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
They say, oh, the next time. So maybe we need to say goodbye. But you know something? First, can't you come to Gothenburg next year?
Well,
Please, you don't have. Yeah, you have to promise now. Okay. Oh, it's Brazil theme, Brazil. Next year.
I laugh a little bit.
You need to come, okay? And we have lots of witnesses here.
Okay.
and you know something more? Because now we're going to say bye-bye, and then I want to hug you. And I think everyone here wants to hug you too. Can't we do a virtual hug?
Okay, let's do a virtual.
I'm doing a virtual hug. Hey! Everyone. Ooh, thank you, thanks. It was really nice talking to you. And see you in Gothenburg in a year, yeah? Bye. Bye.